So I'm just here testing the making on this minimum viable product at Teams where you invite a team member. I'm using Devise Invitable gem to do it. And just got a little tidbit that I like to use. And it kind of goes in with Tailwind styling too. Like it helps with Tailwind styling or just any styling in general. All right, like because you can use one of the features from Capybara is save an open page, and if you have where's my gem file? Yeah, one of these days I need to work with was it Command T, that fuzzy finder tool? But this is kind of how I work. I just have these things open in different tabs in Vim. But if you have what gem file is this? I'm just looking for, is it not turbo links? Oh, you know, I guess I don't have it installed. So it does just come with I guess it comes with just with Capybara anyway. It's save an open page. The thing you want to make sure with, like, you know, when you're doing a minimal viable product, you want to do as much as you can not in JavaScript, basically. Like something like this, here I'm just inviting a team member. You want to use as just much Web 1.0 as you can when you're getting a minimal viable product out. You only want to do JavaScript sprinkles. Unless you're doing some sort of project like a dashboard or like Photoshop Online, I don't know, that has super high fidelity on the user interface. So other than that, you want to stick with the very basics in Rails, whatever you're in Django, whatever web framework you're in. And in Rubyland, I like to do integration tests. Now, an integration test for me is just going to use rack test to do the test. So we don't need JavaScript. All right. The default for Capybara is to use the rack test driver. All right. Now, so this is what my test helper looks like for an integration test. And got to include the DSL stuff, mini test assertions. You want this kind of stuff. These are just separate modules I made for logging in to just like sign up and log in stuff. Now, it's a little different than the device test integration helpers, which they give you a sign in method, which you'll see in a second. Actually, we'll just go to it right now. That's not it. A Teams test. You just use sign in user, and this way you just skip the sign in process. This sets all the proper stuff, so you can just go right in and visit this team page. Okay. The really important part I want to show you is like you need to make this setting as well, or depending on how you're running. If you're using Puma Dev or something, or POW, like this is going to be different. Now, my system tests, these are going to be definitely using Selenium and a headless Chrome or Chrome. Okay, so that's not what I want to go over right now, because this test, this Teams test, I can of course use without having to go out to Chrome. All right, and I want to do as many tests as I can there. And I think that asset thing I showed you up here is just super important because it'll make your styling right. Is that an extra? Okay, no, it's not. So I'm going to run this with with save an open page. And I want to show you too how you can also then do some of your Tailwind styling right using this kind of view. Okay, so I'm going to use, I have a leader in Vim that quickly runs a test in the next pane of tmux, and I have that in another episode, but for this it's SL. It's going to run. Okay, so it's going to give me, this is, you can see, just a saved capybara HTML, but it has, you see all the styling is still in there by setting that asset host in capybara. And one thing that's cool too is, like, you know, let's just say I wanted to kind of not have this go full width on an XL view, in a responsive view. Like for example, let's just open up Inspector. Okay, now it looks fine in that view, right? In that scrunched view. But maybe as I get a little bigger, I don't want it to be, especially when you get the bigger screens. I have my screen on. My particular screen on my iMac right now at one of its like highest resolution, or excuse me, lowest resolution settings, or easiest to see large text, not low resolution necessarily. But anyway, I can just mess around with styling here too while doing my tests. So let's just take a look at this. Let's see how I can make this a smaller width. So I can add attribute class. Let's make it a width of 3/4. Okay, with a 3/4 and close that. We want to text center that too. All right, we also want to get those margins to go in the middle, and you can just use M auto. That should get it right in the middle. So I can kind of mess around here, and like this is large because this is I wouldn't normally do this because it looks okay to go across, but I may do something like this, like XL. Okay, oh, so this is XL right here. But if I lower it down, it's going to go full width again. Okay. Yeah, so that's a tidbit, how I do integration helpers, and using the Capybara save and open screenshot with that asset setting, very important. And then you can see you can do even your Tailwind styling right from these views itself. So hope you got a lot out of this. Thanks for watching.